Hey there, guys. Welcome back. It's been a few days since I've done a video. Just between working and working, doing other things. Just kind of I'm like, I gotta get a video done. I gotta get a video done one of these days. There's a couple ideas. There's one team collection one that I gotta do yet. But I was trying to think of something. I had seen a video. I think it was BW Hockey, who had talked about like how he started collecting. What he started, or how he started collecting, and what ones he started collecting with. And I thought I would discuss kind of how I started collecting mine. Now, and before I get too far into this, if you're new, you guys happen to pop onto this video or any of my other videos, take a watch of them. Hopefully you like them. If you like them, hit the subscribe button. If you really like it, or if you like it, hit the like button. If you really like it, hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you be a part of the channel. And so yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy, and you guys will hit that subscribe button. So I thought I would start, because these are the kind of jerseys that I first started collecting. Because when I started collecting, I was in, what was I, junior high? I think it was junior high. Late junior high, early into high school. Actually, I think it might have been my freshman year in high school. And the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Ottawa Senators were the new expansion teams. And I remember I had seen some of the jerseys, and I believe when I first realized that replica jerseys were even up and for sale, we were getting a catalog at my mom's house at the time. We were getting a catalog. I believe it was the Kemp's Hockey Supply. It was the Kemp's Hockey Supply Company. We'd get catalogs for them every couple of months or whatever, and they sold basically anything hockey related: sticks, skates, pads, basically helmets, anything you'd need to play hockey with. And I remember we were looking through there, and they sold these. They were selling the jerseys too, and I was like, "Whoa, cool!" Because I didn't realize at the time that you could buy the jerseys. You could do that. I mean, we're talking 1992 here, so 91, 92. So it was definitely something new, and I didn't realize you could do that. And I remember I would look through the catalog, and being that Tampa Bay and Ottawa were the two new ones, I thought, hey, what a perfect way to start, get jerseys from, Christmas and birthday. Well, the first one I had gotten, or that really kind of started kicking off the collection, was I had gotten the Tampa Bay Lightning, as it was their expansion year. And the original jersey of that, I believe, is in the storage shed in one of my totes in the storage unit. So, and yes, I still have them. After all these years, I still have them. I remember getting that because it was 3 days before. It was 3 days out. I think it was 3 days after my birthday. And being in gym class, I remember me and another one of my classmates, we kind of collided and we kind of whacked knees, and it blew my knee out. Wasn't very hard, blew my knee out. So, the day was a just horrible day. I get home, or, my mom comes, picks me up, brings me home, after getting, going from the hospital and all that, all that good stuff. I got back home, my legs in a complete freaking leg immobilizer. I can't move it. And I get home and I see that there's a package on the table. And my mom's like, "Oh yeah, I think that's for you." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." I'm like, "I don't know if this day can really, I'm like, this has been a crappy day." I open it up, and it's my Tampa Bay Lightning expansion year jersey that she had gotten for me for my birthday. It just, mail and everything. It didn't arrive until that day. And so, that kind of made the day a little bit better. And then as I was recovering from and rehabbing, my knee surgery that I had to get during Christmas, then she grabbed me the Ottawa Senators one. So I had Tampa Bay and Ottawa from their expansion year, and that's when I kind of was like, I like these. It was like they were comfortable, and I'm like, I think I want to start collecting these. And that's kind of when I made up my mind to start collecting them. And as the collection started to grow, my initial thought was, okay, how do I want to do this? Do I want to just get one here and there? Or, how exactly did I want to do it? Well, I figured out after a few years, or after a couple of years, I was starting to get, I was up to like six or seven teams. And I kind of was like, I kind of would like to see if I can get at least one jersey for every team. Now, mind you, when I started this collection, there were 24 hockey teams. This is when Tampa Bay and Ottawa came in. So they made teams 23 and 24. So, that's how far back I've been collecting, was when this league expanded from 22 to 24. And I was like, I'd kind of like to get at least one jersey for every team. And it took a long time. It took until even into my full adulthood. I think when I finally completed the of getting at least one jersey for every team. Now, mind you, there was a couple teams I'd already had a couple of them for, but this one, when I finally got to the last team that I needed, because I kept looking through, I'm like, I only need a couple teams. I'm like, I'm almost there. And when I finally got the team for, and I think it was Christmas time, because my mom was, she basically knew whatever Christmas or birthday come around. What team this time? That's basically how it was. She's like, what team do you want this time? Which one are you looking for? So that's kind of how it worked. But when I finally got that last team, which oddly enough, the last team I waited on was, oddly enough, the Montreal Canadiens. That was the very last team that I got. Every other team, Montreal was the very last one. Now, this was when they had, what were they? 20, what did they have? 28? It was somewhere around 2003. It was after the Wild and Columbus came in. So, there was 30 teams at the time. So, it took that long to get at least one jersey for all the teams. And then after I did that, I kept, teams would change around designs, or, a new jersey would come out, and I'm like, oh, I got to get that one. And then, a team with another design, oh, I got to get that one. And the collection just kind of started to build. And then when the vintage CCM line came out, which I like Adidas. I do like Adidas. The CCMs, still the best. And these were what were being made at the time. They tried Starter and Pro Player tried making jerseys in the late 90s and into the 2000s. They weren't the quality. And I have a couple of Starter jerseys. Those are also in the storage unit. You go and you compare the way the logos are made, the material, the quality's not there. The logos are kind of, they're very, very, I mean, they bubble, they're not that well made. So I think that's why Starter and Pro Player didn't last with making hockey jerseys. Nike had was making some hockey jerseys, and they actually tried to go the CCM model using kind of the AirNet, the AirNet polyester, as you can see. There's this AirNet polyester. They kind of went that route, but it was a little bit different. It was a little bit different, a different type of AirNet polyester, but it's still tried to look halfway decent, and it fit, it fit pretty well and all that, but even Nike kind of, faded out, and CCM was still, the main maker, and they're the best. To me, they're the best ones out of all of those ones. And then, then Reebok came in. They changed the cut, changed how they made stuff. Teams had to change jersey designs because the Reebok template, they couldn't make them, which drove a lot of fans nuts. But and then they went from Reebok into Adidas, and I kept collecting. CCMs especially. Once the vintage ones came out, I focused hardcore on getting the throwbacks, and I was so happy when I was finally able to get the Minnesota North Stars, these guys, the Quebec Nordiques, the Hartford Whalers, the Winnipeg Jets, those throwback jerseys, the ones from the 70s and 80s style Jets and the 90s. I love the fact I was able to finally get those with the CCM vintage line. But now, of course, and to me, CCM should still be making the throwback jerseys. I mean, that's, because, they did such, the throwbacks, they're the quality is awesome, and the material is, pretty heavy duty, and they're made in Canada. So, they're really good. But that's kind of how I started kind of collecting, and I just, my collection just kind of built and built, and as it changed, manufacturers from CCM to Reebok, then I'm like, okay, try to get the Reebok jerseys. I didn't get a Reebok jersey until the second year Reebok made the jerseys, because it was the second year that they finally made the bigger jerseys for us fluffy guys. And they tried to say, a 2XL in the Reebok will fit just like a 2XL in the CCM. Let me tell you, no. Not even close. Because this is a 2XL. This is a CCM vintage line 2XL. Now, granted, I've lost some weight, so this looks even bigger. But this has always fit nice. It's comfy. There's plenty of arm room, plenty of room. It's comfortable. It's not tight fitting, form fitting. The first time I tried on a Reebok 2XL, granted, I was a little bigger at the time, but I could still fit into the CCM 2XLs comfortably, and they would fit comfortably. I tried on a 2XL Reebok. I literally couldn't get it past here. I put it on over my head, and I'm like, oh my God. I couldn't get it past here. And I'm like, what the hell did they do to the sizing? They literally, and kind of what I found out how they did it, when they when they changed the cut and made it, instead of making it, kind of a straight, a straight kind of cut and a straight down cut, Reebok decided, let's go, we're going to make it like this, and then we're going to go, yeah. And they tried to make it more form-fitting. You don't want hockey jerseys that are form-fitting. That's not the point of them. But I was like, they literally did. When they changed the cut, they basically took a 2XL and made it in between a large and an XL. It was horrible. Fortunately, a lot of people complained, and the next year, they started making the 3X and 4X for us fluffy folk. And that's when I started, getting a lot of the Reeboks and all that. And, I got a pretty good chunk of Reeboks. I'm not sure if I got all the teams in Reebok, but I know I got a good chunk of them. And then Adidas came in, and I wasn't too crazy about Adidas the first time either. But again, they kind of grew on me, and that's when I kind of started collecting the Adidas. And of course, most of the ones that are up here, I mean, with the exception of some of the ones that are on the end, these are some other CCM ones here on the end, which a number of those on the end here they're the vintage line too. Like I believe all 4 Era North Star jerseys I have are up there. I got my Whalers up there. But the rest of this back here, this is Adidas. These are Adidas jerseys. The ones in the back, I believe, are also CCMs, Cohos. Because for a period of time, Coho, which was owned by CCM at the time, they started getting into the jerseys too. CCM would put their brand on the white home jerseys. They were the home jerseys at the time. The CCM brand would be on the white home jerseys. Coho would be on the dark jerseys or the third jerseys, the alternates. And back when they were the road jerseys. I mean, they were still made by the same. They were still made in the same plant. Everything else, it just it was a branding thing. But it was still made the same way. They were still made just. I mean, they were still made really good. But that's kind of how and it just kind of built from there. Like I said, teams would come out with new designs. I'd be like, okay, I got to get that one, or I want to get that one. And it just kind of built from there. And it's built into basically what I have now, which if I were to go and take like all of my jerseys from the storage unit, all the a lot of my Reebok ones are in totes back under here in the closet. If I were to go through and count every one of those, all my Adidas, everything, I bet I've got close to 300. I've got to be close to 300. If I don't have 300, if I'm not anywhere close to 300, I'd be shocked. I've got to be. If I had to guess, I'd probably be at least 290, maybe 295, somewhere in there. But it just once I started collecting them as a kid, I'd see them, I'd see them, I'd look at them, and I mean, and there were a few jerseys that I really wanted to get that I wasn't able to get back when I was young, and but as I got to be an adult, and my collection just kind of started growing and growing, and it still continues to grow. And it's definitely it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun, and I mean, I look back, I basically have been collecting hockey jerseys for, well, let's see, 92, 02, 12. And yes, I know I'm dating myself here. I've been collecting jerseys for 30 years. I've been collecting these for 30 years, which tells you the fact that I still have my original Tampa Bay and Ottawa jerseys in the storage unit, in a tote in the storage unit, tells you how old those are. Those are 30 years old. And yeah, I mean, 30 years. I've been collecting for 30 years. And yes, I know that completely dates me. But, hey, what the hell? I'm 44 years old. What the hell? 44 years old. Still look pretty good. So, I'll take it. just kidding. But yeah, I mean, I've been collecting these for 30 years, and it's been fun, and I just I'll keep collecting. And of course, I just started getting into the YouTube thing not even a year ago, and which I mean, I looked to Shannon the hockey guy. I started getting into his channel first, and then I started watching BA Sports, the Enforcer, Brendan, BW Hockey, with the jersey unboxings and all that. And I was like, God, that's fun. Because I never used to do that. I never, I'd get a jersey and I'd just open it up and hey, But as I started getting into watching the jersey unboxing videos, and I'd get excited. I would get excited for them when they would get a jersey in the mail. I'd get excited. Oh, what did they get? What did they get? And that's when it kind of, spawned me to start doing this. Because I was hoping that people would, they'd see a thumbnail or something that I would put up, saying a jersey unboxings. And I would hope some people would get excited in that same way as I did for watching their jersey unboxings. And just, the suspense and like, oh, what did he get? What did he get? Open the box there, where you can't see it below the camera. And, and then when you open it up and you finally do the reveal and woo, make it all suspenseful. And, it excited me, and hopefully maybe, people who watch jersey unboxings or watch, a lot of the videos that I do, hopefully maybe, there's some people out there that are like, oh, cool, Larry did another video. Let's see what he did. And, there's a tendency I sometimes, get in and start rambling a little bit, and some of the videos get a little long. I mean, start talking jerseys, hell, we're almost 23 minutes into this one. But I would love to know your guys' thoughts for jersey collectors. How did you guys start? Did you start at a young age? Did you, what turned you on to collecting the jerseys? What did they look nice? Was it just, hey, they're the hometown team, so I've got to get it? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on how you guys started your collection. Me, starting my collection, they looked good out of a catalog, and I really liked them, and I was like, I'd like to get one. And then one turned into two turned into three into four, and so on. And now, almost 300 later, I'm still going. So, but yeah, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on that. How did you guys start collecting? Did you start at a young age? Did you start a little later in life? Did you start in high school? Did you start in college? Did you start at, when you were little? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on that. When you started, and how many you've gotten up to, and do you plan on, especially if you've started collecting, what do you want to get? What do you want to get it to? Do you want to get at least one jersey for every team? I'd love to know your guys' thoughts on that, because jersey collecting is fun. It it can be a little spendy at the time. It can be a little spendy from time to time, unless you know where to look. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, and there's a few other jerseys that I do plan on getting here in the future, and yeah. So yeah, I'd love to know your guys' thoughts about how you guys got your collection started, what made you want to start collecting, and where you'd like to see your collection go. Would you like to get one jersey for every team, or would you eventually like to get to where, say Shannon, the hockey guy, he's got well over 400. I've got almost 300 of all the different brands, from CCM, Starter, Nike, Coho, Reebok, Adidas. I've got all the brands. Some of them are just over in the storage unit. but let me know. Let me know your guys' thoughts on that. What made about what made you start collecting, and just how you started. Did you like the home team? I'd love to hear your guys' reasons for how you started collecting, why you started collecting, and how big do you want the collection to go? And yeah, I'd love to hear that, as we're almost 26 minutes in now. I thank you guys for being here. Hopefully you guys I thank you guys for getting all the way, if you got all the way through the video, hopefully you were able to. Again, if you're new, you're just coming through, if you happen to see this video, hopefully you like it. If you like it, hit that like button. If you really like it and you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. You can hit that little bell if you want to. That'll let you know whenever new uploads start. And yeah, I love talking jerseys. I love showing them off. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. And again, let me know how you guys started your collection and where you'd like it to go. And that should do it for me. And I will talk to you guys again very soon.